Hi everyone. Hope you are all here for the now. You can find all the lessons on if the students are done, you have to log in there using your email address and password is provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math on the subject tab, scroll down to grade 9 math, and then click on the all lesson. There you can find the rest of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter absolute value function. So please make sure you have your book and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Okay, here I'm on grade 9 math. Chapter we have right now is absolute value functions. Let's just start with the lesson that is domain and range of absolute value function. What is the range of this function? We are given a function. We need to find the range of the function. All the possible y values, right? Domain is the x values and range is the only y values. Let's just start with the test questions. What is the domain of this function? The domain is all the x values and the range is all the y values. So the domain is all values of x option power to correct option. What is the range of this function? The range is all the y values. The correct option is all the possible y coordinates are the range option number two is the correct option. What is the domain of this function? We will define the domain of the function. So the domain is all the possible. So the domain of the function is all possible x coordinates of number one is the correct option. That is the domain of the function. What is the range of the function? So which is the correct option? The correct option is all the Y values, all the Y coordinates. Option number two is the correct option. What is the domain of the function? The function. The correct option is that is all possible x coordinates. Option number three. What is the range of the function? The range of the function is all possible y coordinates. Option number two is the correct function. What is the range of the function? The range of the function is all the possible y coordinates. Option number two is the correct option. Okay, we are done with the lesson. The next lesson is complete a function paid by absolute value functions. Complete the table. F of m equals the absolute value of the m. So the first thing we need to learn is what are the absolute values? Absolute values are the values that are positive values, right? No negative values in the absolute values. So we are given m equals 3, 4, 5, 6. So the absolute values are all the positive values dropping in a negative sign. So we don't have any negative sign here. So f of m is the same 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's just start with the test questions. What complete the table? F of z equals 3 times the absolute value of z. So absolute value means all the values that are positive. So 3 and absolute value of negative. So negative 3 equals positive 3, 3 times 3 is 9. So here you have 9. Same way we have 3 absolute value of negative 1. So negative 1 is absolute value of negative 1 equals positive 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. Then 1 times 3 is 3 and 3 times 3 is 9. So option number 1 is the correct option. The correct option is option number 1, that is 9, 2, 3, and 9. Option number 1 is the correct option. Complete the table. M equals 3, 4, 5, 6, which is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is not 16, that is 6. That is 3, 4, 5, and 6. Option number 2 is the correct option. Complete the table. F of R equals the absolute value of R. That is negative. That is 5, 0, 5, and 10. Option number 2 is the option number. Complete the table. F of S equals absolute value of S, which is the correct option. That is option number 1 is the correct option. 2, 1, 0. F of n equals the absolute value of n plus 1. So let's just evaluate absolute value of n plus 1. So negative 10 plus 2. Negative 10 plus 2 is negative 8. But the absolute value makes it positive, so we have 8 here. Same thing we have in negative 5 plus 1. Negative 5 plus 2 is absolute value of negative 3. That is, then 0 plus 2 is 2, then 5 plus 3 is 7. So option number 2 is the correct option, that is 8, 3, 2, and 7. Option number 2 is the correct option. Complete the table, so which is the correct option. That is 2, 2, 6, and 10. Option number 2 is the correct option. Option number 1 is the correct option. Complete the table. F of u equals the absolute value of u. So this is the correct answer. That is 3, 2, 1 times the option number 2 is the correct option. Complete the table. F of s equals the absolute value of s plus 5. The correct option is negative 5 plus negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. So we have 4 over here. Then again negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2. So we have 2 over here. We have 0 and 2. So your correct option is 4, 2, 0, 2. Option number 2 is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 4, 2, 0. Option number 2 is the correct option. Complete the table. That is 2, 1, 0, 1. Option number two is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself today. Let me just move to the next bit. That is transformation of absolute value functions. The graph shows g of x, which is a translation of g of x equals absolute value of n. Write the function rule for g of Write your answer in the form mx plus a plus b, where m, a, and b are the integers simplified. An absolute value graph is translated h units horizontally and k units vertically. Every point on the graph is translated by the arrow, including the vertex. So you can look at the vertices to find the translation. The vertex of absolute value of x is 0, 0. The vertex of g of x equals 0, negative. To translate 0, 0 to 0, negative 1 with 1 unit down. The vertex of absolute value of x is 0, 0. The vertex of g of x is 0, negative. We translate 0, 0 to 0, negative 1. We need to move 1 unit down. So you have to move 1 unit down. So that function x translated 1 unit down is g of x. So the equation of g of x is g of x equals the absolute value of x minus. Let's just start with the test questions. The graph shows g of x, which is the translation of f of x equals the absolute value of x. Write the function rule for g of x. Write your answer in the form mx plus a plus b, where m equals a and b are integers of simplified function. So you need to move 1 and 1, you will be on 0, 0, you need to move 2 units down. So that is option number 2 is the correct option. That is absolute value of x plus. The option number 2 is the correct. I think that is, yes, that is x plus 1. Because the point is just move 1 absolute value of x plus 1. The graph shows g of x, which is a translation of f of x equals the absolute value of x. Write the function rule for g of x. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is absolute value of x plus 9. Option number 1 is the correct option. The graph shows g of x, which is the translation of f of x equals the absolute value of x. Write the function rule for g of x, which is the correct option. That is option number 2 is the correct. Absolute value of x, option number 2 is the correct option. The graph shows g of x, which is a translation of f of x equals absolute value of x. Write the function rule for g of x. Option. Option number two is the correct option. That is the perfect equals absolute value of x minus 6. So option number two is the correct option. Okay, the next one is the graph shows g of x, which is the translation of f of x equals absolute value of x. Write the function g for g of x. That is absolute value of x minus 7. The correct option is option number one is the correct option. That is absolute value of x plus 7. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself for today. So we are working on grade 9 math. The chapter we are working on is absolute value function. The lessons we have covered today are absolute value functions. The lessons we have covered today are domain range of absolute value functions, complete a function table absolute value functions, transformations of absolute value functions. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions or the lessons we just take that as your homework until next session. So if you need So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself today. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself today. See you in the next session. Bye everyone.